Hello, everyone. At this time, I'll be sharing with you the upcoming Sunday School lesson for December the 31st. It is called The Faith of the Wise Men, coming from Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. This lesson happens on the last day of this calendar year, ending 2023. The next day will begin a new year, 2024. In my family, both of my sisters were born on December 31st. No, they were not twins. They were born exactly 1 year apart. Also, my grandmother Proctor was born on January 1st. January 1st, 1899. Her first birthday would usher in a new century. We think about what the future will hold. We look for signs, and yes, people make predictions. Most of those predictions will not come true, but invariably, somebody will get it right. Some things are more obvious than others. Of all the stories that are part of the Christmas story, the one about the Magi from the Orient East is, to me, the most unexpected. The most surprising of all the many surprises of that miracle, Jesus' birth. There were many. For example, the angel speaking to Zechariah regarding their miracle birth of John. The angel speaking to Mary, telling her that she will conceive, bear a child whose father is God, not Joseph. The angel speaking to Joseph, telling him the same, that he was to fulfill his marital obligation to Mary and name the baby Jesus. The shepherds being guided to the place of Jesus' birth, then going out to tell others. The heavenly host, this vast army of angels praising God. And now, later, Magi traveling hundreds of miles to see a newborn Jewish king. Here is why it seems so unusual, so unexpected, at least to me. First, they were Persian. They were not Jewish. They were pagans. They were a mixture of astronomer, astrologer, philosopher, theologian. Yes, they were spiritual seekers of some kind, but not in any way that we might expect. Secondly, they followed an unusual star. Perhaps it was the planets Jupiter and Saturn aligning such that two planets looked as one, giving off a brighter than usual glow, or maybe it was a comet or a supernova, but it wasn't just the star, it was how the star guided them first to Jerusalem and then to Bethlehem. I have wondered if they began their trip on the day of Jesus' birth. Now, that's my speculation, wondering. We don't know, but obviously the timing doesn't matter as much as the destination. Thirdly, there is the place of King Herod in this story. When we think about evil men in the course of human history, this Herod was among the worst. When he felt threatened, he just killed people. He killed some sons. He killed a wife. No one was safe around King Herod. It was said about him that it was safer being his dog than it was a member of his family. Herod was given by Rome the title King of the Jews. He and his family, the Herodian dynasty, were puppets of the Roman emperor. He was a corrupt politician, corrupt. His greatest accomplishment was seeing that the Jewish temple in Jerusalem was reconstructed, a job that took many, many years. He curried favor with the Jewish religious leaders, the Sanhedrin. When he heard about the birth of a new king from the Magi, he was both curious and angry. His Jewish religious advisors told him of the prophecies, most specifically Micah chapter 5, verse 2, that Messiah would be born in Bethlehem because of his connection to the lineage of King David. That knowledge helped guide the Magi to their destination, which was a house, not a stable, a house where the child Jesus was living. But Herod was a crazed man. Verse 3, quote, Herod was greatly disturbed. Verse 16, quote, Herod flew into a rage. Yes, the Magi outwitted Herod. Warned in a dream, they went back by an alternate route, avoiding Jerusalem. And then God's angel spoke to Joseph in a dream, telling him to flee Bethlehem. Go down to Egypt, the angel said, for a season, because Mad Herod was going to massacre babies and young children in the hope of killing Jesus. Magi, wise men, most likely not kings, yet they brought gifts which they bestowed upon the Christ child. The gifts were prophetic, and it was for that recognition that we celebrate faith and the coming of the wise men. Think about the gifts. 3 gifts: gold, the gift of a king. Jesus is King of Kings, the most precious of metals for the most precious of royalty. Frankincense, the sweet aroma of altar incense, the gift for the great high priest of our faith. Jesus is worthy of worship always. And myrrh, a collection of spices used for embalming the dead. At Jesus' death, Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea made sure Jesus' body was properly embalmed, encased, wrapped in spices. Therefore, these pagan travelers followed a unique star to a place they had never been to find a young child living in a very ordinary place and showering him with gifts that spoke of his kingship, his high priesthood, and his death for the sins of the world. 3 gifts that clearly define Jesus' person and mission. I wonder how this experience changed their lives. Did it lead them to saving faith? How did it change their world? Just wondering. Have a great week.